Guys, here's what just happened, and I'll explain it in a very simple way. The Supreme Court of Nigeria has stepped into the crisis inside the African Democratic Party, also known as ADC, and they have made a very important decision.
Most significantly is that INEC can no longer hide behind status quo ante bellum to deny the recognition of the duly elected constituted leadership of the African Democratic Congress. So David Mark now remains the authentic chairman of the ADC until
game
the case
on,
in the High Court
but having said that, like I said, the chairman of the INEC now will sit tight with this and do what he's supposed to do as a moderator of our elections in Nigeria, and try not to destroy all that he has built as a reputable academician and as a reputable lawyer in this country, because today the highest court of the land has told him this is what should be.
Right.
This has gone contrary to what the Supreme Court has always warned law workers not to do in legions of authorities. Now, the consolation is that our argument, which you have consistently maintained, that the matters involved are in-house matters of political parties, that the parties that had gone to court had no local standard, that these are matters that are not justiciable, have been upheld by the minority judgments of the two justices of the Supreme Court. And so we have been
Right now, the leadership led by David Mark has been restored, at least for now. Let's understand what happened before this. For some time now, there has been a serious fight inside the ADC about who should lead the party. Then, the Court of Appeal gave an order saying everything should go back to how it was before the crisis started. That order is called status quo ante bellum, but in simple terms, it just means going back to the old situation. Because of that order, INEC removed David Mark and Ralph Aregbesola from its website on April 1st. INEC also said it would not recognize any side until the case is fully decided.
Go to the ADC, because a lot of people are focused on the ADC at the moment. The Supreme Court voiding the status quo ante bellum order, effectively restoring the David Mark-led leadership. Does that settle anything, or does it just pause the conflict?
I think it just, I don't know, it's a catch 66 or 22 for ADC, Charles. Because yes, now the recognition of the David Mark leadership, if anything, in my view, has put, with profound respect to the chairman of INEC, in his place.
That's it.
That being said, that is settled. However, it is not yet Uhuru for ADC.
Yeah.
Remember, yesterday, very tactical move by the establishment. Justice Joyce Abdul Malik barred the leadership of David Mark from interfering with state congresses. Before that, restrained INEC from participating or recognizing all the congresses that have taken place before now, until the final determination of the case, which all we know is only God knows how long. So what I'm saying is, the game is still on. Don't forget, we have about 1 month for the primaries, for the timeline of the INEC timetable to kick off. So the subterfuge is on. And I hope and I pray, like I've been consistently saying, the ADC leadership will not fail the tens of millions of their supporters by falling their hand, like they say in the streets of Nigeria, by not doing the needful to address the lingering internal democracy issue, which has been a critical failure factor of all the opposition political parties. Why we are here is because when they took over, they were not able to do, first of all, the proper risk assessment to even know whether ADC is the party they should go into. In my opinion, that party was on no-go area ab initio. Having done that, not to take the strategic moves of doing the sharing formula such that the legacy members of ADC wouldn't have felt aggrieved to become now the Trojan horse strategy for the establishment. So it's game on. But having said that, like I said, the chairman of the INEC now will sit tight with this and do what he's supposed to do as a moderator of our elections in Nigeria, and try not to destroy all that he has built as a reputable academician and as a reputable lawyer in this country, because today the highest court of the land has told him this is what should be.
Right.
Now, here is the main update. The Supreme Court has said that that order from the Court of Appeal was wrong. They said it was not necessary, not proper, and should not have been given at all. The court also explained that the appeal court made a mistake by giving that order after it had already dismissed the case. So what happens next? The Supreme Court did not end the case completely. Instead, it told all the parties to go back to the Federal High Court, where the case will be properly heard and decided. This means the final decision has not been made yet.
See, I also believe that ADC will have to, they still have a lot of work to do, particularly because the case is going back to the lower court, and that is more than enough to create some anxiety, for the party. It's a potentially great party. It has robust membership, and with that kind of membership and the potentials they have, they need to be running on a very stable ground, without fear of any further interference, from a third party represented definitely in the judiciary.
But here is why this is important. Right now, the order that removed David Mark has been cancelled. His leadership is back for now, but the final decision is still pending. Let me make it even simpler. Before now, there was confusion and no clear leader. Now, David Mark is back in charge temporarily. Next, the court will decide who the real leader is.
Do you think today's developments strengthen or undermine that possibility?
I think it has renewed their confidence. It's a ground on which they can also build if they resolve outstanding matters that can still be very, very disturbing. Do not forget that it was ADC that took the initiative, rallied the opposition in Ibadan, last week, and that was a good step in the right direction of having a common, unified opposition. If to confront the incumbents, so that we can have a robust election next year. So I think they are starting well, or maybe they are midway anyway. They are making a good restart, depending on how they manage the ongoing crisis going forward. Remember again, only yesterday, the state congresses were nullified, the convention was sort of also nullified. These matters are not things that you can just sweep under the carpet. It can snowball once more. It can rear its head at any point in time. And there are so many court cases here and there. Those things can be very, very disturbing.
Indeed.
And of course, we do not know if some more will also come. I listened to Ube Kachuku yesterday, and of course, it sounded very, very confident that ADC is not stable yet. But how can you resolve it?
In other words, if you have a victory today, I'll muddy the waters tomorrow.
And I don't see any reason, really.
Exactly.
Charles, I don't see any reason
So
why.
he's doing a yeoman's job.
I don't also see any reason why someone like Ube Kachuku cannot be approached. He's been on it since ADC came
But
on
hasn't
board.
he been approached?
He's a pretty civilized young man.
Yeah,
so I would imagine that you can have a good conversation with him. I mean,
Just on that, just for me to
Final
add.
takeaway. This is not the end of the matter, but it is a big turning point. The Supreme Court has corrected what it believes was a mistake and sent the case back for proper judgment. So expect more updates and a final decision soon.